Okay, so my computer's been playing up a lot and it's really frustrating, so we'll just see how this goes. Welcome to your first video on theatre styles. So there'll be a whole series of these videos on how to use theatre styles, and there'll be accompanying videos on things like expressive skills and performance skills. Sometimes it'll be just me, sometimes it'll be me and Stephen and Montana, sometimes it'll be just Stephen, so on and so forth. Sometimes you'll even see an appearance from a sneaky little sock puppet. I've got to get better at using it. Okay, so Greek theatre was one of the original forms of theatre. So we all know that the Indigenous communities of Australia have been around for 60,000 years. So they were before Greek theatre. It was another form of dance. But when we will be concentrating on that a little bit more closely in our Unit 2 work. So Greek theatre is considered one of the beginnings theatre styles. It was originally in ancient Greece, 5th century BC, and it was originally designed as a chorus, a singing chorus, where like a choir almost, but there was different stories and things that were going on, and there was often like a lead singer and then people pitching in here and there. It was all in honour of Dionysus, this handsome fellow over here. Dionysus is the god of wine, so obviously loves to party and have festivals. So this is the way that they would honour him, with singing and joy. And then, so this was going on for many, many, many years, and then one man decided one year to step forward and take on the role of one of the characters in the song. And this changed the face of theatre, because he was able to play with the chorus and extend the story and make it more of a theatrical performance, and hence sort of the birth of theatre as we know it. There's only two forms of Greek theatre. There's the tragedies. So all in the beginning, they were all tragedies. Okay, they were all singing about the gods and their punishments and great battles, and there were these epic ballads. And there was this, you can see sort of the masks and things that were being used to express these ideas and these feelings. City Dionysia is the name of the key event. So there was 3 events throughout a year, and City Dionysia was the main one, which everyone would go for. So the writers would have to write 3 tragedies and 1 comedy. So it's how popular this style of theatre was. And you've heard a few of these names here. So I'm not very good at pronouncing them. Agamemnon by Sophocles, King Oedipus, and Antigone by Sophocles. Electra and Medea by Euripides. So some of you will have studied this one, but all these epics, tragic stories about life in ancient Greece. And then the other side of it was the comedies. So this is an example of the difference, the more traditional masks for the comedies. The masks like this were primarily worn by the actors themselves, not by the chorus. The chorus generally had a more simple mask, which I'll go into a little bit more. So the comedy plays, there was hundreds of them written, but altogether only 55. So 55 all up, that's including the tragedies, and only 2 writers of comedy. So 3 tragedy writers and 2 comedy writers. And this was much more along the lines of what developed into commedia dell'arte and those really physical comedy styles. And clearly, and lots of fight scenes. So a lot more action, so the costuming was a lot different as well. So that's when we look at the acting and staging conventions. So you'd have a maximum of about 3 actors playing a variety of roles. Often these were men, that's what the times that it was, and those men would have to play all of these roles in the story, supported and playing with the chorus. So in a tragedy, the chorus was about 15 people. In a comedy, the chorus was 24 for those larger movement scenes that they do. Everyone on stage had a mask. Mask was key to Greek theatre. It was a very important convention. So the chorus wore the simple white masks, so similar to what we'll be playing with, while actors wore masks that are larger and more elaborate. So we'll probably bring some of our Commedia dell'arte masks in just to have a bit of a play with. Different style, but it gives you an idea of that larger mask. They're even bigger than the Commedia dell'arte masks. And obviously often showing the primary emotion of the main characters. So you're already getting an idea of how sort of stereotypical these characters were and how unrealistic the performances were if the characters were so one-dimensional. Due to the mask work, there was lots of vocal skills that were needed, especially there was no tech. Okay, it's ancient Greece. So everything was designed in a way to spread the voice. So the stage, which I'll talk about later, is designed so that the voice will travel up all the way to the outside edges of the arena. The masks often had like trumpets almost within them, so that you could get out really loud, talk, and your voice could be louder. And they just have to have a really high vocal range. Costuming, large, heavy, elaborate, often like huge structures that would have to be put on to people, making them look taller and bigger and more godlike. This was obviously on actors, not on the chorus. And that was all in the tragedies. Whereas the comedies, they need to be able to move quite a bit, so they wore softer, lighter clothing to be able to tumble and run. And then, so that's the acting and how they would perform it. So this is the key information that you need to know when discussing Greek theatre. And the other one is the stage itself. So in this diagram of the stage, you can see the seating, so arranged in the arch. This is also called a procesian arc. It's very traditional. A lot of the performing would be happening down here in the circle, and then you've got in the orchestra, and then you've got the playhouse behind with your doors in and out for costume changes and scene changes. Often these would flip to become different scenes, and that's something they use again later on in Elizabethan theatre and things like that. So all of this is designed to help support view and voice. So that's all the key information about Greek theatre. There's going to be a few questions at the end of the video, and throughout the video. You've probably seen them. So just pause and it'll come about. This is your first one. There's going to be many more. Have fun with your Greek theatre.